Imagine a substance so beautiful it was called liquid sunshine. In the early 1920s, it wasn't a poison, it was a miracle. People drank it for energy. They wore it in their lingerie. They even painted it on their teeth for a glowing smile. But its most practical use was on your wrist. Before the digital age, if you wanted to tell time in the dark, you needed radium. You already know the object, the luminous watch dial. But you don't know the story of the ghost girls who painted them and the horrifying price they paid for every tick of the clock. In the years before the Great War, time was invisible in the dark. Soldiers in muddy trenches struggled to coordinate attacks. Civilians fumbled with matches just to see if it was midnight. The world was dark until Marie Curie found the light. Her discovery of radium in 1898 captivated scientists and the public alike. Radium was one of the rarest elements on Earth. It glowed with an eerie, bluish hue that seemed impossible, like bottled starlight. Soon, manufacturers harnessed it for paint, a substance they called undark. It made watch faces, clocks, and instruments shine in the dark without any candle or lamp. By 1917, the U.S. Radium Corporation was a titan of industry. Its marketing promised to bring sunshine to every wrist in America. Factories opened near New Jersey and Illinois. They needed a specific kind of worker, someone with small, sturdy hands. The work was glamorous at first. Thousands of young women, some barely out of their teens, lined up for these coveted jobs. They were the elite. They earned good wages compared to other industrial jobs. After a shift, they walked home through the streets, their hair, skin, and clothes glowing with radioactive dust. They were called ghost girls, and at first, they loved it. To get precision on tiny watch numbers, they learned a simple technique. Lip dip, paint. Take the camel hair brush. Moisten it with your tongue. Dip it into the glowing paint. Draw the number. Managers told them radium paint was safe. Some even said it was good for their health. Some women painted radium on their nails or teeth for fun. They joked about sparkling after dark. They were swallowing liquid sunshine hundreds of times a day. They inhaled dust without realizing its danger. But the first sign of trouble began with a single tooth. In 1922, a dial painter named Molly Maggia went to the dentist with an ache. Then her teeth started falling out. Then her jaw began to crumble. Doctors were baffled. They called it radium jaw. It wasn't just a dental issue. Their bones were being eaten from the inside out. Radium behaves in the body much like calcium. The human skeleton accepted it, letting it lodge forever inside bone tissue. There, its alpha radiation blasted living cells. It was a slow, agonizing fire burning deep within their limbs. As more women fell sick, symptoms multiplied. Severe anemia, bone fractures, radiation poisoning, radiolucent jaw necrosis. In Essex County, New Jersey, doctors saw young women in excruciating pain. They had ulcers, toothlessness, and aching bones. Yet the company did not immediately admit anything was wrong. At first, executives denied responsibility. They deflected blame to unrelated illnesses. They tried to hire experts to claim the paint was harmless. When the women went to doctors, some were misdiagnosed. At least one expert falsely attributed symptoms to syphilis as a tactic to shame the workers into silence. This was the first great corporate cover-up of the 20th century. A company prioritized profit over human lives. Despite the denial, the evidence mounted. By the mid-1920s, dozens of dial painters were severely ill or dead. At least 50 had died from radium poisoning. Medical examiners eventually documented radium's toll. Not just jaw decay, but debilitating systemic effects. Many suffered suppression of the immune system, anemia, and even sterility. Finally, in 1925, Dr. Harrison Martland, the Essex County medical examiner, conducted the research that cracked the case. He confirmed that radium ingestion was the cause of the ailments that had ravaged these women's bodies. The truth was out, but the fight was just beginning. Led by Grace Fryer, one of the most gravely affected, 5 women filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Radium Corporation. They were weak, frail, and in constant pain. Some could barely lift their arms to take the oath in court. Their legal battle was long and grueling. Companies tried to delay, deny, and discredit their claims. Lawyers argued statute limitations and tried to claim that radium wasn't the cause. Yet the courageous women persevered. Photographs and testimony of their suffering soon spread through the press. People across the nation began to grasp how grave the injustice was. Their case ultimately led to settlements that covered medical and legal expenses. And although the compensation was modest, the impact was far greater. This was more than a lawsuit. It was a global shift. It introduced the concept of occupational disease, the idea that workers can be legally compensated for illnesses caused by their jobs. The Radium Girls' fight didn't just win compensation. It forced companies to start acknowledging workplace hazards. It influenced labor law reform and worker safety standards. Their courage laid groundwork for future protections. In the U.S., decades later, OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, would mandate safety protocols for workers exposed to hazards. By the 1930s, the radium craze had ended. Consumer products once infused with radium, including cosmetics and tonics, vanished as its dangers became clear. By the 1960s and 1970s, safer luminous materials such as tritium and photoluminescent compounds replaced radium in watches and instruments, but the legacy of radium remains. Those original 1920s dials still emit radiation. If you hold a Geiger counter close, it will click, a whisper of a time when brilliance came with a deadly cost. The women who painted them are gone. Many didn't live long enough to see justice fully realized. Some survived despite serious illness and continued to advocate for change. Others died from complications linked to radium exposure. Their bones still glow in New Jersey soil, registering faintly on radiation meters, a testament to the element's nearly 1,600-year half-life. Next time you see a glowing dial in the dark, remember the hands that painted it. Remember the evolution of workplace safety and labor rights that was forged in their suffering. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden history behind everyday objects, subscribe to ObjectLore. There's more hiding in plain sight. Every object has a story. Most were forgotten. This was one of them. Welcome to ObjectLore. You already know the object. You don't know the story.